I'm paying so much more than I really should be. I spend way too much money. I would highly recommend, if you do take one thing from this video, hey guys, it's Monica and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I want to share with you guys all of my financial goals for 2021. And I know you might be thinking, Monica, why would I care about your financial goals? I'm hoping by me sharing my goals and my ideas for saving money and the way I think about finances, that gives you guys ideas for how you can make your goals for this year. I want you guys to go down in the comments right now and comment below one of your financial goals for this year. I'm going to be picking one of you that I'm going to Venmo $1,000 towards your financial goal. Details on this will be in the description of this video. Before I get started, this video is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people. You can explore new skills, develop existing interests, and get lost in creativity. There are so many interesting courses on Skillshare, and I'll have this course linked below that I would recommend that you guys watch in conjunction with my video today, and it's called Modern Money Habits: 5 Steps to Build the Life That You Want. This course is by Justin Bridges, and he is a successful freelancer. It's cool to hear how another freelancer manages their money, but before that, he was in investment banking, so he also has a professional background in finance. It gives a great general overview about how you should be thinking of money. Before you set your goals, I would recommend signing up for Skillshare and watching that course as well. The first 1,000 people to sign up for Skillshare with the link in my description will get a free trial first, and then after that, it's only about $10 a month. By the way, little self promo, if one of your financial goals this year is to buy a house and you're in the Seattle area, I'm about to get my real estate license, but I already work with a team of professionals that are so amazing at what they do, and if you want to have a conversation with us about the home buying process and what you need to do financially to be ready to buy a house this year or next year, we would be happy to chat with you. So I'll have the email for that right here and below. Shoot us a quick email and we can set a time to chat and help you with your goals. And now let's get into my goals. So my first goal this year is to spend less money on my personal credit card. I have a business credit card and I have a personal credit card, and my personal credit card is really just for grocery shopping expenses. And in 2020, it would range between $1,000, $1,200-ish up to $2,000, $2,200-ish. And that's so crazy for a single person to be racking up that much money on a personal credit card every month that I just use for groceries. You guys have probably seen in my vlogs, I can be very impulsive at the grocery store. It's something that I'm working on, and I decided I want to set a goal for myself this year that on that credit card that I use for groceries, I want it to always be under $1,000 a month that I spend. Part of being successful with this goal, I think, is being really honest with myself. Being honest with yourself can help you with your finances, and this is what I mean by it. My biggest expense when it comes to that credit card bill is when I buy wine at the grocery store. I feel like I buy a lot of wine. I like wine, I drink it responsibly, and when I just go buy wine at the grocery store, depending on the grocery store you go to, it's not a very good deal. So I think being honest with myself, one thing that would help me is cutting back on just, grabbing a random bottle here or there where it ends up being a not very good deal. Just going to, like Total Wine or one of those places where you get the really good prices on wine and just buy it in bulk so you get the 10% off as well, and then don't buy it at the grocery store so randomly, because that's where I get in trouble. Be super honest with yourself. I'm spending too much money on this and I need to stop. Even if it's a little embarrassing, it embarrasses me to say I spend way too much money on wine, but it's gonna help me in the long run stop spending so much money on it. My second goal is I want to refinance my house in Seattle for a lower interest rate. I bought the house in fall of 2019, and my interest rate that I locked in at the time was 4.5%, which was okay. Like 3.5% was the really good interest rate at the time, and I wasn't able to get that because my credit score was around just 700, and if you want the best interest rate on a house, you have to be at like 740. But now interest rates have gotten so low, like the lowest they've ever been. I want to take advantage of refinancing my house for a lower interest rate, because over this year I've worked on getting my credit score up, and just the fact that interest rates are lower means I'm going to save so much money if I refinance my house. You guys know when I bought that house, the mortgage was $4,400 a month, but then when it came to the new year, my taxes went up and my mortgage went up $300 a month with that. So now my mortgage is $4,700 a month, and let me tell you, I do not like that. I'm paying so much more than I really should be. I put 10% down on my house, which means I've also been paying paying mortgage insurance that's $200 a month. But over the last year and a half, the Seattle market has really gone crazy, and my house has appreciated enough that when I get it appraised for my refinance, it's going to appraise to say that I have 20% equity now. So I'm gonna get a lower interest rate, and I'm gonna be able to drop off that mortgage insurance. I already got the ball rolling on this. I talked to my lender, and he kind of looked at the numbers and everything, and he says I'm gonna save $1,000 a month on my mortgage. I'm gonna go from $4,700 to like $3,700. At 4.5%, I'm currently paying $2,500 a month that just goes towards interest. My lender said I could get close to 3.25%, which would be around $1,800 a month. That is a $700 difference. It's crazy how much you can save with lower interest rates, and these aren't gonna last forever, so I wanna act quick. So I wanna get that all going within the next couple of weeks. My third financial goal is before I refinance, I want to get my credit score up just a little bit more. Like I told you this last year, I've been working on getting my score up. It was like $699 when I bought my house, and now it's about $725. There's been two things that have kept my credit score lower than it could be. Number one is kind of just completely out of my control, and it's I haven't had credit for that long. So over the course of this last year, I would see it go up, but I also would see it go down, and it was super frustrating, and I didn't know why this was happening until I did some research, and I found out, probably a lot of people know this, I didn't know this, so I'm gonna share this in case you don't know this. If you go over 30% of your credit usage in a month, it negatively impacts your credit score, and I just did not know that at all. I thought, okay, my limit on my personal card is $7,500, so I would go up to like $2,000 some months, but then I just pay it off at the end of the month just fine, and I didn't realize that that was still negatively impacting my credit score. Over this last year, even though it's been growing, some months when I spent more on it, it actually declined. Also, other people are saying don't even go above 10%. Also, here's another thing I did not No. Credit card companies report your balance to the credit bureau at different times. I always assumed it was just at the very end of the closing date, and I always was paying my card just on the last day or the day before, because why not? But actually what I found out is I have American Express, and a lot of the times they report your balance to the credit bureau 5 days before your closing date. My payment is due on the 4th of every month, so I just assumed my closing date was on the 4th. So as you can expect, on the 4th I would have a $0 balance because I would pay everything off, and then I would start living my life, spending money again. And this actually happened to me, you guys. On August 10th, that is actually when my closing date was. I had racked up a bill of $600, and my credit score actually decreased that month, and I had no idea why this kind of thing was happening until now. Basically, you want to make sure your balance is at $0 that day they report it, and I didn't know that, and so this entire year, whenever it was reporting to the credit bureau, I would still have a balance on my credit card, even though I was paying it off at the end of every month. So anyways, long story short here, now that I have that knowledge, I'm gonna hit that 740 mark probably next month, and so that's when I'm gonna refinance my house so I can get the most competitive interest rate. And so those are like two goals kind of together. My fourth goal is to make my second property that I recently purchased an approved Airbnb that is cash flow positive. Upon acquiring this property, Shelby and I learned that there were a lot of expenses that we were going to incur. We're doing a lot of renovations right now. I'll have my vlog channel linked below if you want to see what's going on there, but it's been really expensive, and it's taking so much longer than we thought to even get it ready to be a short-term rental. Basically, I'm just making it a goal that this year in 2021, at some point, even if it's near the end, I just want it to be an Airbnb. I want it to have its short-term rental license here in Palm Springs, and I want it to be cash flow positive, paying for the mortgage and all the expenses, and making at least a little bit of a profit. That is like my goal for 2021, and then going into 2022, hopefully, you know, we can net a lot more. For right now, I just want it to get something eventually this year. Right now, my monthly expenses with my two mortgages is $7,700. That's where I'm at in January 2021. By the end, when I implement all of these goals of mine, I want my monthly expenses to be $3,700, but we've got a long way to go before we get there. My fifth financial goal is my monthly savings goal, and that is I want to save $10,000 a month into a joint savings account with my sister Shelby. We run a lot of our business stuff stuff together, and so we do investments together. We can just pool more money together and then it earns more interest. And so that just makes sense for us. I know $10,000 a month sounds like a lot of money, and it is, but it's two people contributing also. This was actually a goal that I implemented in 2020, and I started it in March. I said, hey, I want to contribute $10,000 a month. I want it to auto pay, come out of my account. I just want it to be out of sight, out of mind. It just happens. We started that in March, but the first payment in March, we made a $30,000 contribution to that investment account to make up for not doing it in January and February. And then we were able to save that $10,000 a month for every month in 2020 except for December. And we stopped in December. We put that on hold because of buying this house and because of all of the renovations we're doing. It's a big financial burden right now. So we put that $10,000 a month contribution on pause. So my goal is I want to get that going again. I want to get it going in May. So I just want to get it going after the renovations and after we pay taxes in April. I would highly recommend, if you do take one thing from this video, set up an auto pay account. A lot of banks offer this. So I know like Chase Bank, I do banking through them. They offer it. The Empower app has auto save. I've talked about that in videos before. So look whoever you bank with, if they have an auto save option. If they don't, the app Empower has it as well. To me, auto saving is the only way to save money. It's so effective. Naturally, you like seeing a certain amount of money in your bank account, and you know, you're not that eager to pull that out and put it somewhere else. But if it automatically does it, you're not even thinking about it. It doesn't feel like psychologically you're doing it. It happens. And I would just recommend coming up with a number that you know is gonna work for you, letting it happen, and then I'm telling you, a year later, you're gonna be like, oh my God, how did I save this? I would not have saved $110,000 this year. No way, if it weren't for autosave. I would have kept that in my normal account, and it would have felt like I had more money than I should spend, and I probably would have made stupid purchases with it. A huge thing that I learned with money in 2020 is just having it out of sight, out of mind is really good for me, because I like to be a spender. So I need that discipline of it's going away, so my bank account looks smaller. And as long as my bank account looks smaller, even if I am making more money, if I put it somewhere that I can't touch, then I'm not gonna have that lifestyle inflation. And I really haven't had that lifestyle inflation. Maybe like a little bit if I'm being honest with myself, but I still try extremely hard with my day-to-day purchases to just keep them how they've always been. Just because I've doubled my income does not mean that I need to be paying twice as much for the standard things. I don't spend more than I used to on flights or vacations, hotels. I've still kept it like the same threshold that I feel comfortable with. You know what? That could be its own financial goal as well. So number 6, I guess we're getting into, is just not letting lifestyle not letting lifestyle inflation creep into my life. I'll just leave it at that. My 7th financial goal is setting up my 401k to be auto pay. So every year I max out my 401k to the $19,500 that you can do, but I usually do it at the end of the year. And that's what I've been doing like this year too. But every time I do it, I hate it. I hate that I have to be like, oh shoot, that's this big contribution. Did I save enough money to do that this year? Oftentimes I feel like I find myself scrambling. If I would have just divided that $19,500 over 12 months and automatically have it contribute every month, again, it would be that out of sight, out of mind feeling. I wouldn't be spending more money than I should, and at the end of the year, I wouldn't be scrambling to pay it. And worst case scenario is you don't contribute because you didn't realize, like you forgot to save for that. You spent too much on your lifestyle, and so setting up auto pay for a 401k is a really good idea too. And my last financial goal this year is I want to learn more about stocks and investing. I get a lot of questions from people about investing, and I don't know what I did for people to think I know a lot about it, but I actually know really the bare minimum. And the reason for that is because when I started making, you know, some decent money, I started working with a financial advisor. I don't know how to invest best, and so I just started working with a financial advisor, and you know, I just had the attitude of, I have someone that does this for me. I don't need to know about all this stuff, so I'm just gonna go focus on the rest of my life. I guess like that's still true. I have someone that does that for me. I don't need to focus on it, but with anything in life, the more knowledgeable you are at something, the more it's gonna benefit you. So this year, I actually want to learn more about stocks and investing. I've never done it myself. I've literally like never bought a stock myself. Like someone else has done it for me. I'm gonna start investing in some stocks and just learning more about it. So that's it. Those are my financial goals for 2021. I'm really glad that I'm going into everything with a plan. I didn't in 2019 or any years past, and I wasn't very good at saving money, to be honest with you. I really wasn't. But in 2020, I started implementing a plan and it worked so well. And so I'm happy that I nailed down these goals for 2021. I'll check back with you guys in a year to see how they went. And I'm excited to see what your guys' goals are that you leave in the comments as well. Like I said, if you want to check out my vlog channel to see all the renovation stuff that's happening, I'll have it linked below. And if you want to keep learning about money, then click on my link in the description and sign up for Skillshare. If you're one of the first 1,000 people that do it, you get a free premium membership trial. Thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.